I'm Rachael Beyer, the John W. Emery Family Assistant Curator of Oral History here at History Colorado. Welcome to the March edition of Behind the Registration window, located on the third floor of the History Colorado in the Zoom In exhibit. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about oral histories, which for the most part are things you listen to rather than look at, although I do have some things in the window. Oral histories are a person telling their story in their own words, and are a really great way to learn someone's personal perspective as they experienced an event that happened to them. Here at History Colorado, we've collected oral histories since 1957, when two intrepid volunteers from the Volunteer Council grabbed a portable reel-to-reel player and went out into Denver to collect people's stories. Since then, we've collected more than 1,400 oral histories in our collection. We have the expected, stories of children who'd grown up in Leadville telling stories about Baby Doe Tabor, and skiing, mountaineering, all the way to the unexpected, like stories about Denver's white spot restaurants, or the stories of Jews who survived the Holocaust who moved to Colorado after World War II to make this state their home. Let's take a look at some of the media on which oral histories are collected. The earliest oral histories and all sound recordings were collected on wax cylinders, which were invented in the late 1870s. These are a pretty unstable media because they're made out of wax. We just have a few in our collection, about 21. These were replaced by wire recordings in the 1950s. And the 1950s is when oral histories really started being collected in earnest. Wire recordings were really great for journalists who went out and reported from the fields in World War II, because the wire is really stable, although it doesn't collect sound very well, and so wire recordings are kind of hard to hear. We only have about 5 of these in the collection. By the mid-1950s, wire recordings were replaced by reel-to-reel, or magnetic tape. We have around 500 reels in our collection, most of which were collected by those really fantastic volunteers that went out with their portable player and collected oral histories from around folks in Denver. By the mid-1970s, reels were replaced by cassettes, which are the same kind of tape, but in a more compact version in a protected housing. We have around 500 oral histories on cassettes, and even a few on microcassettes. By the 2000s, we started collecting our oral histories digitally, which is how we collect them to this day. Since COVID started, we've been collecting digitally over the phone and over Zoom so that we can still keep collecting those stories, even though we can't do them in person. You can explore our entire oral history collection by visiting historycolorado.org/catalog, or browse our digital oral history collection at soundcloud.com/historycolorado. If you come into the exhibit, you can see a QR code that you can scan and hear Lucy Walker, who we just collected her story last summer, talk about her theater company in the Five Points neighborhood of Denver, as well as her involvement in the civil rights movement in the 1960s. Thank you, and don't forget to tune in next month for a new window display in Behind the Registration window.